Today we're going to type Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston is an English actor. He gained international fame portraying Loki in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, appearing in Thor, The Avengers, Thor, The Dark World, Thor, Ragnarok, Avengers, Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and the Disney series Loki. All right. Are you ready?
3, 2, 1, go.
Most of your 20s really devoted to theater. I mean, that was your life.
Yeah.
Was that because that was the love, or you couldn't conceive of a TV or film career? How much of it was just out of like practicality, like I can't even imagine that kind of being a movie star?
Yeah, probably that. It seemed so remote, you know.
I see the FE already.
Loving movies and loving TV and loving theatre. It wasn't like it was my passion was sort of divided. It was just a wholehearted love of stories.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe the culture that I grew up in, like theatre's easier to do when you're a kid. All you need is an empty space and some words. And you know, at the time, I guess, as a child of the 80s and 90s, the cameras weren't so easily accessible.
Right.
So this idea of making movies was so like remote. There's other people do that. I think it was actually probably
You can already
allow
see
myself to dream
the intuitive
as big as that. I think
in this guy.
I thought, wow, maybe one day. But it's a dream that's really at the back of the highest shelf in the cupboard in the attic room of the house of my mind, you know.
One thing that always strikes me
Yes,
is
right
the focus
there.
that's
All right,
required for an
stop
actor.
there.
Let's stop.
Because it's a living, breathing thing. You have the audience.
There we go. Yeah, there's an eloquence to the way this man speaks, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
yes.
It's very intense, very passionate. It's very well thought out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you know, in the moment, really. It's something he's obviously dwelled upon previously before this interview, and probably not even specifically for this interview, just in general, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and you could argue that that's FI because I did a little research before we did this video here, and it's there. A lot of people are saying that he's an INFP, which I find interesting because no, and the reason for it is we typed Sting. He's one of the INFPs that we've typed already.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at any interview with Sting from the very beginning, that man is speaking to his feelings. It is all about his feelings, creating the music. Like every single interview I've ever seen with him, it's all very much the same. He already is not speaking to his feelings. Why does he like theater? You know, it's the stories it tells. It was easy to do. He's already speaking to several things that don't necessarily have to do with feeling in that way. And I think what you're seeing is the TI because he's kind of processed all this. Even what he just said, he said it's on the shelf. I forgot how he said it. It's on a box in the shelf, and it was like da-da, da-da, and it's in the attic of my mind. Like he just went through this whole thing. Did you just hear him say that?
Right.
That was so interesting, you know?
Yeah, he speaks to and about feelings. It's not about him.
No, right.
Only that he, enjoys it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, he's very abstract, you know. It's there. His feelings are shown outwardly, but he doesn't speak from a place of feeling like an INFP does.
No.
It's very different.
No, it's very sort of surfacey, isn't it? It's I love theatre. I love the feelings. I love the stories. I love the people.
Right.
It's not like.
Whereas Sting, it's very profound, like, how he feels about something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some of the things he said in interviews, but it's much different.
What did Sting say? He said something like, I mean, in even his songs, so he made that song Englishman in New York, right, which is just about one specific guy and sort of his way of doing things that he sort of related to in a way. And, you know, his whole process is like that. I mean, watch the Sting video and you'll see, you know, he creates music in this very personal way.
Right.
And yeah, Tom Hiddleston, he's very personable, and you know, you could maybe argue that Sting is less so. A lot of people would probably say that. This guy's personable, but he's not personal when he talks about things.
Right. I think INFPs are personable when they speak from that place of feeling because they inspire other people in that way. Like,
right.
Because they speak so strongly from their feelings, it can inspire other people. Whereas that's not what he's doing.
Yeah, I guess it really depends who you are, because a lot of people might look at someone like Sting and say that he's not, because everyone's got different definitions, right? You know, people think personable is
right.
I can't even say personable.
Personable.
Personable is like FE, but it's not always. You know,
no, because remember Lady Gaga, we typed her. I mean, she was so personable. I mean, She was so warm and engaging in that way. Just the way she was, you know, speaking to the interviewer and the audience. You know, she was speaking from such a deep well of feeling, and it came across as very personable. So yeah, it depends how you define it, but.
Okay, let's.
All right, let's watch some more.
Continue. 3, 2, 1, go.
Right there. I don't know. Can you see the audience, generally speaking?
I don't know why. I can see everybody. I can see everyone in the house.
So, does that ever rattle you? You must recognize friends, celebrities. Has that ever happened to you where you've seen like, oh, that's Oprah Winfrey or whatever? I mean, like, you know.
There was one performance of Ivanov, the Chekhov play, which we did in 2008, where I came on stage and I looked out into the house. And I saw a sea of faces and Michael Caine. There he was, like
a spotlight on him,
looking at me. Yeah, I was like, oh no, you know. And I momentarily froze of like, Michael Caine is watching. You know, it's maybe the only time that Michael Caine is going to watch you act.
Do we know for sure it was Michael Caine and not just like an apparition?
It was Michael Caine.
Okay.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I think you liked it. So.
Is there something about the stage that lets you kind of push yourself in areas that otherwise would rattle you? I mean, for instance, like, again, I'm always amazed by the lengths that actors can go, especially in a live environment.
What I love about a play, and it is unique to the theatre, is this consequential momentum that you get across performing the whole thing.
Sure.
And when I first started making films,
Eloquence.
I initially found that
Consequential
difficult. That you make a discovery in a scene, cut, and then it becomes a sort of construction site for half an hour, trying to sustain a integrated psychological reality for the character.
Pause it there again.
If you're doing...
Yeah.
Like, my goodness, like, the way this type speaks is amazing. I mean, I love...
Why, thank you.
Well, the males only. No, I'm joking. I don't know, the intuitiveness, the interesting ideas they have, the way they speak, it's so intuitive, it's so interesting. I think a lot of this goes over people's heads, but as another intuitive, I just find it, I don't know, I love to listen to what they say.
I agree with you, but then I think at this point now I'm kind of interested in, you know, like seeing how certain functions work. So I'm noticing how his TI is working. So you can tell when he is not sure, like, okay, when he asked him about Michael Caine or about, I'm doing the same thing right now. I'm actually proving my point. When he asked him about, do you notice individuals in the audience? He had to stop looking at the man. And he had to think about, okay, what exactly happened? I want to get this right. So he was like not looking at him in order to tell the story. But once he got to the point where he was confident in what he was saying, like, okay, then he could look at him. then the minute he's not sure, he has to look away to think.
Yeah.
But for me, it's very relatable. Like there's a specific flavor to this. I don't know that we're going to get to it, but later on, he kind of makes a few jokes, and you can tell he's used these before. He's comfortable with them, and so like he looks like he's being a funny guy in the moment, but he's not. He's thought about it. And then he just places it, certain times, try not to, overuse it, but it just made me laugh.
Okay, we have to see that.
Where is that? I don't know where it is. I know, sorry.
Okay, let's just continue anyway. And okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's take the first Thor movie, for example. Yeah. Some of those sequences at the end of the film between me and Chris Hemsworth were 7 or 8 weeks apart. Right. But in the movie, they're next to each other. So you're like, right, 7 weeks ago, I was in this mood, and I was, this level of emotional volatility, and having to just refine that.
Any superstitions particular to the theater?
There's one. I'm thinking there's a warm-up game, which I think I've played almost every time, which is about, it's called Big Booty.
Sorry?
Big Booty?
Yeah,
that's what it's called. It's not related to anything, any body part specifically. But you play it as a group and it's standing in a circle. And it's kind of like a rhythmic game where everyone playing has to keep a specifically musical rhythm, and if they break it, they go to the back.
Got it.
And if you're at the top, you're the big booty. It's crazy.
How often are you the big booty?
In Betrayal in London, I was the big booty because I taught everyone the game. So people were like, God, this is so hard. So I managed to stay at Big Booty for like 3 weeks. And then Charlie Cox and Zoe Ashton, we've got to get Tom off the top. We've got to knock him off. So it became intensely competitive. Yeah.
I know from experience what a master imitator you are.
All right.
You can do seemingly any voice. Did that start young? Was that something? Were you imitating friends?
I think I've always been fascinated by sounds, by language. Long before we had iPhones where you could make voice memos, I had a double tape deck. And I did my own, at the age of 8 or 9, I pretended I was a radio DJ, and I would do all the voices. So I would be like, now I'm going to cut to Tina with the transport report, with the weather. Hello, I'm Tina.
This is funny.
There's some rain this
Yes. All right, let's stop there.
But I think I've always been fascinated.
Okay. Interesting. I find that this type, that we can be very good mimics. I don't know. We talked about this before. I forgot who it was in one of our typing videos, but that you can actually like feel what it is to be another person. I think we mentioned this before for these actors.
Okay.
And I think that this is like I've noticed this with even just out there in not just in like Hollywood, but just in general. I think that INFJs, we can really like actually feel like we're someone else. And I think I've even talked about this on my own channel, talking about different things. When I was young, I used to pretend to be other people, and I would act like they were. And it was interesting because when I said that, I had a lot of comments that it was very relatable, that they said, people would say, yes, I did the same thing as a child. Like I would act like someone on TV. I would just put them on and act like them just to see what it felt like. I just think that is something that we do from a young age as we're trying to find out who we are. And so it's fun to sort of, I say fun, but it's just something very useful to imitate other people, to find out what parts you like and what parts you don't like about it. I don't know, I think it's a very useful exercise in trying to discover who you are when you're not naturally equipped in that way as like an FI person is. So I think it's interesting that he's speaking about this. That just confirms it for me.
Yeah, it's a very alien concept for me.
Yeah, right. You wouldn't have to pretend to be someone else to figure out what feels good on you.
Yeah, INFJ.
Yes, I think
100%.
Yes, definitely. Yep. Okay. Click like and subscribe, please, so we can get the word out.
Suggest some more people for us to type.
Yes.
And we can credit you, and we will bring it to the front of the queue as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.